Hello again and welcome to English with Mado. In this specific video, I'm going to cover two of the most challenging verb tenses in English. That is the past perfect and past perfect continuous. I will be showing you the difference between every single verb tense with example sentences and absolutely a quiz time at the end of the video. Stick around and don't go away. Let's begin with the past perfect. How do we use the past perfect? We use the past perfect tense to talk about an event that happened before the other. So we have two events, one happened before and the other comes. Usually the first event is always in the past perfect form and the second event is in the past simple. I will jump into details later on. Now let's just see how do we use it with all the subject pronouns. And that's a beautiful thing about past perfect. Everything about past, we don't need to actually separate the subject pronouns. So as you can see, all the subject pronouns are you, we, they, he, she and it. We use them plus had, which is the past simple of have, plus the past participle form. For example, I had written a book. You have gone to the store. We have driven a car. They have found insects. He has read a beautiful article. Okay, so that's just some example sentences to help you express the meaning or the use of this specific verb tense. But how do we use it? How we specifically use it with more confidence in these sentences? Let's just actually highlight the first sentence. John had gone, so that's had plus the past participle verb, had gone out when I arrived in the office. So John had gone out when I arrived in the office. So what event happened first? Definitely the one that has the past perfect tense. So John already gone out and then she arrived at the office, or she or he, whatever. Okay, so that's the first event, event A, and that's the second event, which is B. And as you can see, we have the past perfect tense in here and we have the past simple in here. That's the past simple. And let's just focus on the time word when. We quite often use when to separate the past perfect and the past simple. It's very commonly used in English phrases, specifically with these two tenses. Moving to the next sentence. I had saved my document before the computer crashed. So as you can see, that's the first event here and that's the second event here. So I have already saved my documents, so the document has been already saved before the computer crashed. So that's the first event and the past perfect, and that's the second and the past simple, and we have the word before. We quite often use before also with past perfect tense to separate from the past simple. Moving to the third one, when. So you can start by when. When they arrived, usually the past simple comes after when. So when they arrived, and that's the past simple, we had already started cooking. So you don't have to start the sentence with the past perfect. It doesn't matter. Even if you end the sentence by the past perfect, it still means that this is the first event. So as you can see, I had already started cooking and then they arrived. So that's the first event here and that's the second event. And we have two beautiful time words here. We have the word, we have when, and we have already. We quite often use already with all the perfect tenses actually. Present perfect simple, or the present perfect continuous, or the past perfect as well. Jumping now to the fourth sentence. He was very tired because he had not, or he hadn't, that's a short term, he had not slept well. He had not slept well. So the first event is he didn't sleep very well, or he hadn't slept very well, and that's why he became tired. So that's why he's tired, because he didn't sleep well, or actually he hadn't slept well. So that's the first event in the past perfect, and that's the second in the past simple. Now, the train had just left. That's the past perfect. When I arrived at the station. So when, after when, comes the past simple. So as you can see, the train had just left. So the train already left, and then I arrived to the station. So as you can see, it's definitely obvious what's the first event and what's the second event. Now the last sentence, by the time. We quite often use by the time, which is a very special word to be used in past perfect. By the time he returned, that's a verb. By the time he returned, he had won awards for bravery. He had won awards for bravery. So he already won awards for the bravery, and then he returned. So that happened first, as you can see. So that's the first event, and that's the second event. What is past perfect continuous? Past perfect continuous. It's quite challenging and laborious to use this specific verb tense in your daily English conversations. Why? Because most people replace this specific verb tense with past continuous. It's quite simple to actually replace this with a past continuous, specifically for the non-native speakers. So, I'm a native speaker, and I can use this quite often in my daily conversations because I understand it. And that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm going to explain to you how do we specifically use this verb tense. We use the past perfect continuous to talk about an action or event that ended in the past before something else, like before another action. What does it mean? It means that the duration of that action does not continue until now. It stops. So it stops before something else happened in the past. Do you understand what I'm talking about? I know it's quite complicated, but it's very easy if you keep actually using this in your sentences. Let's continue to see if these sentences might help you to understand it or to comprehend the overall meaning of this verb tense. So, with the subject pronouns I, you, we, they, he, she, and it, we use had, that's the past participle. We use been, which is the past participle of be. And we use the verb an ing. For example, I had been working, she had been living here, whatever. But also, this specific verb tense shares something with the past perfect. What is it? We also use it with the past simple. So the first event is in the past perfect continuous, and the second event is in the past simple. Let's jump into more details. You had been waiting there for more than 2 hours when she finally arrived. That's the past simple. And that's here the past perfect continuous. So you had been waiting there for more than 2 hours when she finally arrived. So what does it mean? So that's the first event and the second event. And by the way, the specific time here, like for example, using for more than 2 hours, for more than 2 days, when we have more specific time, we quite use it with the past perfect continuous. So as you can see, that person has been waiting there for more than 2 hours. But that action stopped when she finally arrived. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So that specific action happened and then it ended before something else. And that's when she finally arrived. Moving to the second one. Mikey wanted to sit down because he had been standing all day at work. So, wanted to sit down. That's the past simple. Because he had been standing, that's the past perfect continuous, all day. We quite use this time word with the perfect tense. And I actually, if you remember, we used the specific time word with the present perfect continuous. So he had been standing all day at work, but that action stopped when he asked to sit down. When he wanted to sit down. Okay, so he wanted to sit down because he had been standing all day at work. So that action was really happening in the past. It was ongoing, and that's what we call ongoing. So it's an ongoing action in the past, but it stopped somewhere. It ended somewhere. Okay, and that's the first one, and that's the second action because, so always the first action is in the past perfect continuous. Same as the past perfect. Moving to the actual sentence, this specific sentence here. Betty failed the latest, so Betty failed the test, so that's the past simple, because we can use this one, as you can see, we used it a lot, even for, as you can see, we quite use these time words or these adverbs in English, specifically with the past perfect, with the perfect tenses, present perfect simple, or no, actually, because we quite often use it with the past perfect and the past perfect continuous, if you actually have already realized that. So Betty failed the test because she had not been attending the class. That's the past perfect continuous. So as you can see, she had not been attending classes, and that's why she failed the test. So that was the first action. That action happened in the past, it stopped, and then she failed the exam. That's how we use the past perfect continuous. It's quite easy to use it, and I'm going to actually now show you some quiz or like some sentences to help you improve or ameliorate or more understand the usage of this specific verb tense. It's time for a quiz now. As you can see, we have a short paragraph on the board here. All what you have to do is placing the verbs in the brackets with the time words in the correct verb tense. Which verb tenses? The past perfect and the past perfect continuous. So try to go back, rewind to the beginning of the video to help understand the usage of past perfect and past perfect continuous. So please don't forget to write down the answers down in the comment section below, and I will reply to you individually. That is all. Thank you so much for joining me in this very special video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and activate the bell button to receive all my upcoming videos. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing you again on my platform.